Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farm, and today we're going to be setting up and testing a brand new wood chipper that is very different from all of the wood chippers that I've tested before. And it opens up a really interesting conversation to me about the pros and cons of a towable unit like this compared to the 3-point units that I've always used in the past. And some of those things are obvious and some of them maybe are not, but after I talk about it a little bit, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you feel about a unit like this. Now, the first thing I'll say is I've never been excited about a towable or freestanding unit because all the ones I've ever looked at were small. But this thing has an enormous 35 horsepower engine on it. And at that point, you've got all the power that the tractor would have. So now you're talking about which form factor you prefer and what the price is and those kinds of pros and cons. But first thing I want to do is I'm going to show you just a little bit of the setup from inside the shop. I was going to record the entire assembly process, but as I was assembling it, I watched my friend Lucas Peak. He has an assembly video already on this exact same chipper. I watched his video while I was recording mine. I said, man, Lucas made a better video than what I'm making right now. So if you want to watch every bit of this thing be built from scratch, watch Lucas's video. If not, we'll check out a few things and we'll fire this thing up. All right, let's get a first look in here. Wow, the crate is packed full. To watch me tear down this crate, I just want to let you guys know that I did not pay for this unit. Mech Maxx sent me an email, asked me if I'd like to review their wood chipper. I said absolutely. I was already planning to review chippers this summer. Along with that offer, I also got a discount code where you guys can save 5% off anything that you guys order from Mech Maxx using my code. And they already have incredible pricing, so it's a pretty good deal. After I ordered this, I found out it does not have the flywheel style chipper that I've had on all the other chippers I've used. This has your big knife here, and then a big knife here on a drum. So this would be what they call a drum style chipper. I know the lighting probably isn't very good on that, but the blades, the two blades pass, you know, close to each other and it just chips it up. So I don't know about better or worse. I'm gonna say that probably the flywheel style is more desirable, but maybe this is one of the ways that they make the product a little cheaper. Okay, so that took a couple hours to put together, and Lucas warned me. He does the same thing I do, where he reviews different equipment from different manufacturers, and he's assembled a lot of Mech Maxx equipment and other brands of equipment. He said this is one of the hardest things he's ever assembled, and it's not because it's complicated or it has a lot of steps or a lot of parts. It really doesn't. It's just a handful of bolts. The reason this is hard to assemble is that this main section here that has the chipper head and the engine is really heavy. I would say this probably weighs, the whole thing weighs like 740 pounds or something, but just the engine and that center section that comes as one piece probably weighs close to 400 pounds, just a guess. And you have to kind of maneuver that 400 pounds around while you put the axle under it and all of that. Now, I use the mini skid steer in the shop, and that made it a lot easier. But if you're working by yourself and you don't have the assistance of a lifting machine, this thing is going to be a bear. Lucas did it all manually, and it wore him out. So, just letting you know. So let's take a walk around this thing, look at the build quality, and just everything that jumps out to me about it. Let's talk about the least important thing first, and that is, this sucker is just cool looking. I love the red with the yellow safety bar and their branding and this gigantic engine. You've got the front casters on a swivel, and this thing's just really cool. But we don't buy machines because they look cool. We buy them because we want them to do work. So let's take a look at it. What you get with this is it's got an electric start, which is really handy on an engine this size. Here's your throttle. There's your choke. Very basic stuff you would always expect. You've got an air filter in here. And there's your gas tank. Here's your fuel filter. Here we have the outfeed chute. And like any other setup, you can swivel this around. So you take these loose, and then this rotates, and then this, you can aim it. And the way it's set up, it would shoot into the back of the side-by-side. So we're gonna shoot these off to the side over here. Now this has a really heavy tire on it. Let's see what this says for the rating. It says not for highway service. So usually these will be rated at like 40 miles an hour or something like that. But it does have a standard wiring plug here so that you can tow this behind your truck, but you just want to be careful about the speed you're going. Like a lot of log splitters and this type of equipment, they're not rated to go 75 down the highway. So we've got a greasable bearing here. The chute goes on and off real easy. It's just got these pins and it lifts off. It's not a solid axle, round shaft on the bottom of the square shaft, and then you've got a bearing, separate bearings, so that if you're making sharp turns, this wheel can turn more than the other. You've got a little bit of a floating axle here with brakes, so you can pop these, and then this swivels, and then this pushes down. If you disconnect the splitter from your tow vehicle and you don't want it to roll, you've got a brake right there. Everything on this seems well made to me. I don't see anything about it that feels cheap or poorly done. You've got an extra emergency stop button here. Now it comes with this one, so that if you got, somehow your glove gets caught on a branch and this thing's sucking you down in there. First, it's a long chute. But so by the time it's starting to pull you in there, you're going to accidentally hit this kill switch, even if you don't even remember that it's there. And to access the inside of it, you pop these latches here, and it swings open if you needed to clean it out for a jam or anything like that. Your battery is in this box right here. Just a little clamp there, pops that open to get to the battery. Obviously you have to have a battery because it's electric start. Got your belts in here. This chute swings open as well. And you've got your little signals here in case you are taking it on the road. Now, when a new brand comes out on the market like this, like Mech Maxx, and I say, well, what's a Mech Maxx? Is this any good? How would I know? Well, you don't know. And if they're new and you look at it and you say, well, that looks like something I'd like to have, and the price is good, but how do I know it's not junk? Well, I can't answer that today. I've never used this until we're about to do it. But Lucas is a good friend of mine. He's a sharp guy, and he's been running all this Mech Maxx stuff for over a year now, I think. And I talk to him, 20 times a day. We're talking every day about the projects we're working on. And I've yet to hear him say much of anything negative about Mech Maxx. So that tells me it's worth a look. I'm doing a series of wood chipper comparisons. I've done every Woodland Mills chipper. I love the Woodland Mills chippers. I think they're great products. I love everything Woodland Mills makes. But they're not the only company on the market. So we're going to look at everybody else, starting with Mech Maxx. So that's enough talking. Let's fire this thing up. So we'll choke, get the throttle at least halfway up. My plan was to do this during the day. I ran out of daylight, had a few other things come up. So I don't have a lot of material, but I got some slab wood. We'll go grab a few branches. I just realized that I didn't give some of the most important information about the chipper. This chipper right here is rated for 8-inch material. Before the discount code comes in at about $3,500. This model has been really popular. They're having trouble keeping it in stock. But they've also got about 15 other chipper models you can look at for 3-point or towable like this unit. All that info is in the video description, and the discount code applies to any of their products. The last chipper, you guys gave me a hard time because I tested it with only pine branches. Well, that's just what I had. Well, now I got an oak 2x4. Let's see how it does. I just use what I have. That was so lightweight that it was not holding itself down. It's trying to bounce. All right, so we got some hardwoods, we got some softwoods, we got some slab wood. I don't even know what some of that was. It's a very limited test because I'm doing this late in the evening. But what I like to do is have the first video about a certain attachment or a piece of equipment be talking about the equipment, telling the story, where I got it, why I have it, all of those things. And then the second video, I don't have to explain. We can just start the video by doing the work. So that's what the plan is for this. First video is just, this is what type of machine it is. Second video will be just using it. So I appreciate you taking time to watch. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.